I want everyone out there to think back. Think back to the very first concert you ever attended. Go there in your minds. Think about the band you so eagerly wanted to see. The howling of the crowd when the lights went down and they hit the stage. All those songs you remember being performed live. Think about the atmosphere all around you. What venue was it? Who were you with? What emotions ran through you? Think about the time in your life and how this one concert might have changed you. Changed your perception of music. Just from seeing and hearing this one band live. Think about that special night. Now, think about how you've told that story dozens of times ever since. How you proudly tell people things like, I saw them before they got into the charts, before you'd ever heard of them, before the bass player OD'd, before they turned into colossal bloated turds agreeing to be part of those dismal retro tours where they perform on cruise ships with names like Seas to Hell, alongside equally depressing bands from their heyday. I saw them back when they were gods rocking the earth. I saw them back in the day. If you're one of those people whose very first concert story tops all others, I'm sorry, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to anyone out there whose first concert experience is something they never, ever tell people. A band they're rightfully ashamed of. A band no one would admit to seeing live. A band whose very merch, whether it be cassette, a poster, a concert tee, could brand that person a social pariah clear to their 20-year high school reunion. I'm talking to those people. Because my first concert was just like that. And if you think your dirty little first concert secret is embarrassing, I'm about to out-embarrass you and hopefully make you feel better about yours. My first concert was Phil Driscoll. Never heard of him? That's because he was a Christian trumpet player. Already forgot his name? Of course you have, because Christian trumpet player. Yes, that was my very first concert ever. Ever. And you know, I know what you're thinking. What made his trumpet playing any more wholesome or Christian than, say, Herb Alpert's or Chuck Mangione's? My friends, I've spent years trying to answer that very question. Phil Driscoll could have claimed to be a death metal trumpeter, and there would have been zero difference in his trumpet playing. Playing backwards, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, it became instantly evident that this was a Christian event when he began singing. Yes, I'll give Phil points for being a remarkably efficient trumpeter, but his vocals were essentially, how shall I put this? Your drunk uncle attempting to reproduce the Mad Dogs and Englishmen album in its entirety at a VFW karaoke. Joe Cocker. Physically, Phil Driscoll resembled Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop, from the neck down. This perfectly tailored anime suit with jutting shoulder pads and skinny tie, but from the neck up. He was all wispy Gallagher mustache, face smushed and wrinkled like a stuntman scrotum. And a blonde, permed skullet. You know what a skullet is, right? Bald, mullet, and yet permed. That's right. During my first concert, I bore witness to the whitest, squarest man in the universe. Puckered mouth molesting a trumpet, intermittently stomping on an echo box or a wah-wah pedal, which produced sort of a, replicating holier than thou, alternate reality versions of selections from Bitches Brew or Dark Magus, but through a sadistically warped yet sterilized 80s filter as if the sound itself was drenched in warm buttermilk. And if you're some sort of John Zorn fan who thinks this twisted, pious jazz fusion sounds appealing, well, okay, I'll give you that. It sounds appealing, but the execution was just slow jam, ham-fisted renditions of Wade in the Water by a sweaty Skullet trying to convert sad bastards with his piss-poor Joe Cocker impression. And if all of that weren't bad enough, this was also my very first real date with a girl. Yeah. Ignore the uneasy blurts from a neutered Miles Davis. Pay no mind to the gravelly voice, how great thou art. Young Sam's trying desperately to round first. So, how did I arrive at this pugnaciously religious jazz hellscape? Well, I was pulled in by a friend of a friend. Let's call him, Matt Monroe, because that was his name. This pituitary case who said he needed a second because he was going out with this foxy hot piece of mink, his words, not mine, who wouldn't go out with him unless he could get a date for her little sister. Yes, I was living out a storyline ripped from the Brady Bunch. And yes, a creepy horn dog like Matt Monroe could also be the most devout of Christians because, the South. I don't remember what Matt's date looked like, but I remember what her little sister, my date, looked like. Wavy chestnut hair, winging around her scalp like a fluffy helmet, squinty eyes set behind giant square glasses, an exact copy of the middle sister from Gimme a Break. Nerdy, meek, awkward. A female me. And for the life of me, I can't remember her name, though, because any memory of such things is clouded by a sonic gitmo of free-form trumpet runs and growly cocker shrieks. The kind of anguish one might experience while listening to an improviser laboriously explain a show they were in, or, a cleric gush about some really epic D&D campaign they were part of. Fucking clerics. Anyway, yes, I'm blaming all of this for not being able to get a word in edgewise with this girl who I was trying to make any kind of connection with. Though, this one moment would echo throughout my entire romantic life. A docile geek who feels like a burden to any woman he's attracted to. As if they've all been pushed on him by some pasty jock like Matt Monroe, speaking of which. Even if I had a plan to make headway with my date, Matt was constantly interrupting any flow, jabbing me, saying things like, "Come on, you pussy, talk to her. Say something, make a move." And he was also doing this in full sight of his date and mine, which was mortifying enough, eventually yanking me up from my seat and pushing me over to a concession stand to give me pointers. "You gotta make a move, Sam. You gotta get in there or she's gonna lose interest." "Matt, I don't even know this girl." "Exactly. And you need to fix that." His plump, bratwurst index finger just poking my chest. "What's the difference? I'll probably never see her anyway." "Yeah, with the way this night is going, no. No, you won't." And with that, he just walked away like a misguidedly butthurt deadbeat dad. The thing is, I wasn't so naive that I couldn't read the signals. This girl wanted to be anywhere but there, sitting next to me. And who could blame her? We were stuck at a goddamn Phil Driscoll concert. If she was like me, she was praying for a fire alarm, tornado, locusts, anything to make this absurd occasion stop. In the end, my first date yielded no hand-holding, no phone number, no kiss goodnight, just to see ya when Matt dropped her and her sister off. And as he drove me to my house, even the earful of guilt Matt gave me couldn't keep me thinking about that Give Me a Break girl and how we made it through this gauntlet of Christian death together. And that seemed better than getting lucky, whatever the hell that meant to me at the time. And it made me wonder, is this what love feels like? Having not even gone through puberty at that point, I assured myself it was. I never bothered to track her down and see if she remembered me or that night. Part of me kind of wants to hear her perspective on the whole thing, at least validate my memory of it all, but I don't know. Maybe a mystery's better than nothing. And that would mean getting in touch with Matt Monroe, but he's married with like 6 kids, so why bother a guy with that many fucking problems? These days, Phil Driscoll sets are less avant-garde freakouts, so more like the new age jazz they should have been all along. He's given up the Joe Cocker impressions and settled into a whispery balladeer type of thing, like Nick Cave might sound like in his 80s. But he's still selling out churches and prefab Christian entertainment centers all across the South. And good for him, you know? I mean, I guess we all grow up, eventually. And in his case, it just meant getting hair plugs.